Hi guys, it's Lisa Murphy, and today we are going to talk about strategy number 3, the last part of our 3-part series as to how the conversation on the importance of play keeps moving ahead. 3 strategies that have been successful in keeping the conversation going. And if you've been with us the whole time, the first one, of course, was a 10-minute overview of the Binder Challenge. The second was a reminder of a suggestion, an offering for you, a consideration of starting to say the phrase playful learning instead of kids learn through play. And today we're actually going to circle back to our 4 domains within developmentally appropriate practice, which is actually, see, strategy. That's why I led with that one, 3-4 episodes back. I wanted to give you an overview of this because I knew this was going to be the 3rd part in our 3rd-part strategy. So, remembering that 4 domains within developmentally appropriate practice means that we are paying attention to cognitive development, language and literacy development, social emotional development, and physical development. So the strategy here, and you've heard me say this if you've been in my workshops, is more long-term, and I will own it. This is a long-term strategy. In my brain, my selfish wish would be that every parent who starts in your program, starting in the infant room, wherever they start with you, ideally the infant room, and you'll see why in a minute, not like ideally in the infant room, but you get what I'm saying. In the infant room, if you've got parents that are enrolling their 8-week-old, 9-week-old, 10-week-old in a childcare program or a half-day program, it doesn't really matter. I want you to start getting comfortable enough with this language to start sharing it and teaching it to your parents and your clients. Why? I want this to become a touchback. I want this to become something that everybody in the building can talk about, can articulate like clearly, like everybody understands it. It's not just buzzwords. It's not just saved for the teachers. It's not just saved for back to school night or parent night or conference days. But everybody in the building has a working knowledge of what this actually means. That what you see unfolding in a classroom can be linked back to one, if not all, of the domains of developmentally appropriate practice. And the reason that I want parents to become empowered with this language, here's the long-term strategy point, is that as that parent grows with their child and they go through your program, they go through another program, and then let's say they show up in a kindergarten district where there's no recess. Now, I realize some of you might be watching from outside of the United States, but unfortunately, and this is embarrassing in a whole different other workshop, but roughly between 35 and 40% of our elementary schools don't have recess anymore. Depends on whose website you're on to gauge that statistic. And maybe perhaps we'll unpack that at another time. But right now what you just need to know is that there are lots of schools that don't have recess. And imagine a parent who now 5-6 years into their experience of raising this kid, they know what this is. They know how important and how equally weighted all 4 of these domains are. So that's not to say that we don't believe in cognitive development, but it means that we believe that all 4 are just as important as the other. So if you have a parent, to keep the example going, who now shows up in a district where their kid doesn't have recess, and maybe only has gym once a week, PE, phys ed once a week, you have a parent who's very knowledgeable and empowered enough to be able to say, you know what? You are completely ignoring an entire domain of my child's development. I need you to fill me in on what that's about. What do you plan on doing in order to make sure that this part of their development doesn't fall by the wayside? That is how long-term change, at least here in the United States, is going to happen. When we as educators and we as providers, when we feel so confident enough in our understanding of this language that we are able to share it and empower all of the other people that we're working with. Everybody who walks in that door, everybody who graduates, everybody who moves on to the local school district, to the local whatever, they need to know what this means so that they then in turn can start being an advocate for playful learning for their own child, regardless of how old he or she might be. So that, albeit long-term strategy, is strategy number 3 of getting comfortable with this to our own selves, but then also comfortable enough to be able to teach and empower other people with the same information. So, thank you very much, Lisa Murphy, the Ooey Gooey Lady. This has been episode 3 of our 3-part strategies of how to keep the play conversation going, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Have a great day.